Thank you all for coming here. My name is Dior Halili. I represent USAID Compete. I'm the ICT sector lead. Let me do a short intro and then I'll introduce my guests and then we'll have the discussion panel that we're all gathered here. We're here to talk about fintech, which lies at the intersection of a country's traditional strength in financial services and the future focus on the digital economy. To discuss more on the matter and see how this can shape Kosovo's future towards a cashless society, with me here today, I have Mr. Gazmend Selmani, founder of IBAS, part of PBC group of companies. I have Ms. Melita Ymeraga, managing partner at Melita and Partners. Please welcome her at the stage. And I have Mr. Ulpian Morina, co-founder and CTO of Swinto. Okay, thank you all. Fintech growth and the associated competition has challenged organizations like traditional banks and other financial institutions to consider how they operate. Now, this includes from how fast they respond to changing needs towards their business model, right? So these modules of the past were structured around linear and heavy manual processes. And the modules of modern technology, which I think most of you represent here today, demand us to be more networked, automated, and real-time data-driven. I would like, for the sake of all guests here, you do a short introduction of who you represent and, let's say, what is your mission statement, value, and all of that. I want to start with Ms. Ymeraga.
Thank you, Dior. Hello, everybody. My name is Melita Ymeraga. I am the CEO and co-founder of Melita and Partners, which is a consulting business located in Pristina and established in 2010. Our business was established with the purpose to help SMEs on implementing business solutions and as well training them and coaching them on using the business solutions. And the trainings are specialized deeply for a niche like manufacturing, construction, and professional service industries. Beside business solution implementation, recently we are providing digital accounting services which are based in QuickBooks, since we are a QuickBooks solution provider covering the region. And these services are provided not just locally but regionally, and recently we started to provide them in UK. Beside this, seeing what Chris mentioned, and like we know nowadays, the human capital should be very skilled on using the technology. We have developed and providing the training, so-called Become Freelance Digital Accountant, using the global recent technologies like QuickBooks, Xero, and other softwares. And in order to have people providing these services from here to global countries and yes, worldwide.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Gazmend Selmani. I am founder of PBC Group, which then founded several companies, including IBAS. IBAS stands for Innovative Banking and Attractive Solutions. Our vision is to deliver cutting-edge technology for financial instruments, starting from digital payments, money transfer, and e-loans. So far we are doing great, and we could manage for a very short time to catch the break-even point for IBAS, which is a very rare case worldwide for fintech companies to achieve that performance in a very short period of time. So, and then we are continuing to bring new innovations in our market, in Western Balkans as well, and in the other side, we started, in fact, we established companies in London, and we will expand our services worldwide from London. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, I'm Ulpian, co-founder and CTO at Swinto. First of all, thank you for spending your Saturdays hearing what we have to say. That's the first part. Swinto is a fintech platform. We're trying to build a financial ecosystem. It's based on a lot of the buzzwords you might have read from other companies, especially from the outside, like Revolut, the N26, the Venmos. We're trying to do something similar. Our company is based in Switzerland, but our offices and our wonderful staff is all in Kosovo. And so what we're trying to build is starting from really supplying that remittance market part. And as we move into payments, build out that infrastructure, the underlying digital infrastructure, to build upon all of the additional features that we're looking to build, which is very exciting. I have a few probably things during this thing that I will announce about what we're going to do at Swinto, but I'm just not trying to hijack the whole thing. But yeah, so that's me. That's what we do.
Okay, thank you, Ulpian. Is it okay if I call you on first name basis to keep this more informal? Awesome. Okay, let me get into the more technical side of the conversation. Central Bank of Kosovo has already granted electronic money institution licenses in the country, which in the long run may lead to cheaper domestic and international transfers, leaving little to no fees for crediting of transfers, right? So that somehow is a facilitation towards what we're trying to achieve here with the growth of fintech industry and its representatives. And within the same line of thought, regulators take an entity or sector-based approach, which can lead to a lack of certainty for firms with novel business modules wishing to operate in the region. From your point of view, and I want to direct this question maybe more to Gazmend and also Ulpian, given that they represent a share or represent a type of business that could affect this, is there a need for a more concerted effort on behalf of policymakers to understand these new operating fintech models currently evolving and to consider the existing supervisory framework in light of fintech companies in Kosovo?
Yeah, so actually a fairly interesting question. First thing is to say, my heart goes out to regulators all the time because they've always got to do so much catch up. There's always so many things buzzing with tech. You've always got regulators trying to make sure that, in society we're all fine and that tech is not going beyond that breaking point. But there is something to be said, I think, about the way the central bank is here in Kosovo and the way that the tech industry, fintech industry operates here in Kosovo. I think primarily, we could have more communication. It doesn't have to start at the application process. I think it could be earlier than that. Right, so we could do lots of committees. We can do sandboxing, I think, with the central bank, where perhaps we can express what those ideas are. The wonderful thing about technology is that it enables, we had actually a great talk by Christian Kabashi, who was just talking about that sort of democratization of success. It's actually very cool because you've got lots of very, very smart boys and girls out there who are all trying to build out the cool thing, and sometimes they're not up to date on the legal side about what they're doing, and it's not their job to do that. And that's actually, we should harness that power, and actually what we should do is bring them into that conversation and then help lead them and to say, hey, your ideas are amazing, but here's how you could do that in probably a safer way.
Yeah, so in order to change the market, you firstly need to educate the market, right?
Right,
in a way.
Right. And I think what we need is actually, we need a synergy. We need a communication between the central bank and all the cool things and the various companies are doing. Practically speaking, I think we could do a sandbox. So I think we can have a 1-year sandbox like the FCA in the UK does the same thing. And I think we could also do probably committees between private tech companies and innovators and the central bank. And I think we'd see a lot of uplift from that.
Gazmend?
Thank you. If you're allowed to add me something in terms of regulation perspective, because the role of the central bank is the regulation part and supervising part. As a solution guy and as a solution company, we aim to go in concrete terms in sense that central bank, we think that should speed up the process of bringing in force the PSD2, which is Payment Service Directive 2, which is very well applied in EU, and neighboring countries are applying as well. And central bank should cooperate in a much closer relationship with tax administration and with business registration agency to oblige all companies to have an option for paying not cash, or to offer to the payers an alternative of paying in digital way. So this is what central bank and other organizations in Kosovo could bring, and as soon as they bring it, will support the economic development and education and all other circumstances needed to move forward in a faster way. So from our point of view, this is what central banks should do as soon as possible.
Okay. Melita, you mentioned earlier based on the scope of work of the company, and I want to shift my conversation and especially my question right now towards what you guys are doing currently. Can you please share with us the benefit of QuickBooks integration with open banking? So companies have real-time data flows, and how does that impact their financial management and their business doing on day-to-day basis?
Yes, actually, this is a very good question, because providing accounting services in Kosovo and providing accounting services globally has a huge difference just because of open banking. Now, QuickBooks and other solutions are has the bank connection with the software, and basically the businesses are able to see real-time bank balance in one platform for all their bank accounts, including digital money like Wise, like Tide, and PayPal accounts and all of these, and they do not need to do manual work. This enables to have a paperless accounting, to have the exchange of data real time, and that businesses can manage better their cash flow and make informed decision. This is just one part, because everything is exchanged at real time, but another part is having a snap of an expense and bring it real time to the software and extracting data. So basically there is no manual work. It is everything is done using the machine learning and automation by categorizing the transactions. So imagine a business having real-time expenses, profits, project profit, and all other data like better cash flow and better decision making. So for us, it's much easier to do the work outside than in Kosovo, because here, getting back to what we do here, it is really very hard providing everything manually, and it's very hard to change the mindset. It took us 3 years, and it took us many contracts that we, ended just because of some businesses, getting used to have their accountant at the office and using the traditional way. So basically, all of us, as professionals in these fields, would love to have regulated this kind of exchanging the data between the bank and other institutions, because then we can do more advising work and providing more professional work than just doing the data entry. So it makes a difference, really a huge difference, that how the services are provided here in comparison with the countries where open banking is enabled.
So I want to shift back to the online payments and e-banking. As an economist, I'm driven by the numbers, I'm driven by the data, and so I believe you guys are too. The rapid development trend of financial infrastructure has enabled the increase in the number of value of online payments by 10%, according to the Central Bank of Kosovo, compared to last year's value, while the number of payments through digital wallet applications, which is of higher interest for you guys, in 2021 was 37,000 payments, amounting a total value of around 550,000 euro in value. although compared to, let's say, other regional countries, this may seem on relative terms a lower number or a lower value, to us it is some factor. It highlights something. It emphasizes a certain development. According to, so I want to get both of your opinions on this because you are still, let's say, playing and exploring in this industry. What are some factors that have enabled such an increase, and what can companies based in Kosovo do to help drive this trend even higher? Gazmend, if you can answer first, and then maybe Ulpian can do a follow-up.
Yeah, if I heard you well, you said 500,000. What was that?
So the number of payments through the digital wallet application in 2021 was 37,000 payments, amounting a value, so in monetary value, around 550,000 something. Yeah, so
should be small mistake somewhere because only in our technology, the payments were about 20 million euros. I don't know.
In digital wallet payments?
Yeah, in digital wallet payments. So.
Maybe the number was driven or withdrawn from a certain component.
Could be, or is let's say a very small portion of the stats. So as I said, in order to increase the usage of digital payments, we have to, how to say, shape a bit the way of thinking and a way of living. We have to offer to citizens digital payment infrastructure. We are ready, but the society is not. We have invested a lot, but there is there are still some needs, as I mentioned, from central bank and from institutionals, from different institutions to create mechanisms that would support, oblige, and incentivize somehow the digital payments. Otherwise, we are cash-based payments. I remember a few months ago, I published a status in my social media. For example, if you ask a merchant somewhere in UK to pay with cash, they will be quite nervous with you. And it is completely the opposite in Kosovo and Balkan region. If you ask the merchants to pay in digital way, they will be very nervous with you. So we have to find the way which change this mindset. And there are, I mean, the world applied different instruments and they achieved to arrive where we are aiming. So we have nothing to invent. So we just have to apply what others did, and for sure we will increase with a high speed the change and what we are aiming to.
Yeah, it's actually a very fascinating thing to talk about because it's actually a trend that we've seen in other countries as well. I think there's two parts to it. One is what are the factors driving it? A big part, probably COVID, to be honest with you. Just trusting the digitization of systems, doing more things on apps, realizing you can't always go to the bank point or to the ATM and you got to figure out other ways to do payments. That's probably one of those factors. But really, sort of the real thing for me, the way I see it, is actually a question of trust. Yes, there are underlying things behind that. The tech part of it can be solved, will be solved as long as there is the will. But fundamentally, it's about trust. And there's something very interesting about Kosovo. I came about 2 years ago and I live here now. And it's been a big learning curve for me. So I've learned a lot. And I'm still learning positively. But one of the things that the way I see Kosovo now actually is a country where half of its people are in the country and half of them are out. You know, and if you think about the other half that are out, Switzerland, Germany, UK, and so on, they have this digital apparatus, yeah, that allows them to do all these very innovative things. But in Kosovo, it's not like that. As Gazmend was mentioning, 80% is like cash society, probably more than that. And I think what we have to do, really, to drive that, I think, is going to be totally based on trust. Fundamentally, money is a consensus mechanism, that it's a social contract. And you have to trust the people behind it and the institutions in order to say, yeah, I'll give this a go, I'll put my money in. What you'll see, for example, with Swinto is you'll see people who are putting in 5, 10 euros. and then later they're putting in 100 and then 150. So it's right. So they're sort of saying, hang on a second, this actually works. this crazy thing that is on my app, that's actually real money, you know. And there is that connection. I've seen many times we've done integration with Meridian and with Minimax and a couple of others, and honestly, it's like a sort of magic moment when you get someone going there and saying, I want to buy this, I want to also withdraw like 30 euros, and then a QR code pops up, and then they sort of scan the QR code, be like, is this real? Is this going to act? And then they scan it, and it happens, and the person goes, you know, thank you, and everything. And there's that magic moment where they start building that trust and saying, I see what that's like. I think if we had more of that, especially with providing that infrastructure, if we had more of that, I think what you'll see is that Kosovo and the people here is actually going to surprise you. I think we have a population that's actually very tech savvy, mostly young. It's not about them not looking for innovation. I think it's just that there's a lack of it. And I think that's what we should be driving. And probably all of us sitting here are going to be some of the main people driving that, yeah.
Okay, thank you for very interesting answers. I want to get back to Melita and say, we're talking about these EMI-driven companies and products. Is there, let's say, a business plan on how can companies like yours and other companies that are applying digital accounting services and solutions to opt for EMI solutions? For example, because I think most of the companies or most of the portfolio are, so you're very overloaded in the sense of companies that are dealing with traditional business and traditional accounting. So has there been any shift? Are you guys exploring towards any business change? So, yeah.
To be honest, it is really hard, because we are talking using the digital payments, but on the other hand, people are still cash-based. Businesses are still imagining most of their income coming from cash, and sometimes they do not. It's not trust. I would say it's gray economy. Because they have two kinds of accounting sets, two kinds of accounting softwares. And if they go to apply for a loan, let's say they ask you, can you make me a set of statements for bank? I would take a loan. So this is the main problem. Then it is the regulations, but the mindset is something that we need to work on. And I would say we have two types of businesses. Like the one that are run by modern entrepreneurs, and they are tech savvy. They would like everything to be on place, having the processes, having the technology, and having the information and taking the decisions based on the data that they have within their softwares. Like on the other hand, you have traditional businesses that I'm afraid that within 5 years they will change their mindset, or it takes time until so they are not early adopters and they need some time. So basically those businesses are not our customers. We do not work with them. We try to work with technology companies and manufacturing companies that really need their processes in place and really see accounting at the center of their business in order to get real information. So within 3 years, we have piloted with different industries these services, and just recently we decided to end up with only 10 businesses who are really 100% digitalized, and our services could come into consideration and to see as an added value for their businesses. So it really takes time for us. It's not easy like in other developed countries. Everything is hard starting from here. Plus we need to develop very skilled and specific resources in order to use the technology and to provide this kind of services.
You know, the industry is taking a shift for good when companies substitute verbs, right? So you have the case, I'll Venmo you, I'll Cash App you, so he's been a synonym for I'll pay you later, right? But I think what we're here to discuss is that fintech is much more than a money moving mechanism. I wanna touch upon a little bit upon the IBAS and also Swinto's product features. I will ask maybe Gazmend to briefly describe on the, let's say, features of e-loans and e-POS and how can we distribute this to a larger audience, and maybe then Ulpian can also follow up on that for the merchant API that you previously just touched upon a little bit with Meridian and also, because I think as much as this conversation seems very interesting to the wider audience, in the technical sense of it and how they can benefit from it, people have very little information.
Well, I would come back again to the previous topic regarding the cash-oriented society. As Melita said, in one side, businesses refuse to use digital devices, digital tools, digital logs in order to escape the tax duties and so. This is, let's say, this is a topic that we have to raise it wherever we are and to convince whoever we can that paying taxes means that they will have better infrastructure, they will have better life, and so escaping them will continue the lifestyle that we have. In comparison, if you intend to sell a software, for example, for different type of industries, any one of them, almost any one of them, is going to ask you, can I have two different accounts, one white and one black? So, and this is, whoever delivers such a technology is supporting them to, let's say, damage the society. So we have to raise it up, we have to find ways and to, let's say, neglect these impacts and so. In the other side, when business doesn't offer the digital payments options and tools, of course the payers will hesitate because they are not they are not confident that they're going to realize a payment, for example, in car wash or some in any, so they have to keep some cash in their pocket to be sure that they can realize the payment. So, and this increases the volume of cash payment transactions. Coming back to the features of IBAS, we intend to play with 3 unique propositions. So we started with digital payments, money transfer, and e-loans. Then we continued with toolless payment, fundless payment, and limitless reward solution, which is a worldwide, which is going to be a worldwide platform. To give you some more hints, we truly believe that we invented a way of paying much better than Amazon Palm is delivering or PayPal is doing. And in the scope of rewards, there is a $200 billion market size per year worldwide, where we intend to offer latest technology for managing digital assets. In Kosovo, we are ready, technology ready, licensed ready to bring on, I'm saying for the first time, to bring on the financial instruments like shares, convertible debts, and bonds for private sector. And we are going to launch it soon. So 3 multiplied with 3.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, just before I answer that, can I just say something about what Melita was saying? And I would absolutely hate to disagree, but I actually think, I think it's about incentive. You're right about how it is right now, and I experience some of that here, but I think it's about a question of incentive. That's at least the perspective we take. Fundamentally, we've got to provide more value and make it easier for those businesses to do it the right way, rather than, because that is how it is. I mean, if you operate as a business here in Kosovo, there are just some barriers that, frankly speaking, it's just easier to do it the other way, and it's probably more profitable, more value, you know. So we just got to change the incentives the right way, and I think that's what we're trying to do at Swinto. So I mean, what we're building is, it's not like I think some people misunderstand it. It's not banking better, or banking 2.0 or card scheme 2.0. We're completely leapfrogging the entire infrastructure. We work with banks because they're absolutely fundamental to this ecosystem, and so are the card networks, and so are all that. But by connecting all these into an ecosystem, I think we provide a lot more value to merchants and to retailers. The merchant API was launched in March, and it's publicly available if anyone wants to go in and just Google Swinto Merchant API. And you can basically connect right now, and you can generate dynamic QR code links as well as pay links, and you can start collecting payments. Here's an example of changing those incentives for what we offer. When we go to a business, they say, well, why should I do all this fancy stuff with Swinto? I say, well, because we have 600,000 Albanians who come into Kosovo from outside and who could be potential customers. Now, you can choose if you want to miss out on that 600,000, you know, by all means. But that's just one of the aspects that when we talk to merchants and businesses, which are also an essential part of that ecosystem, we provide that value. Or for example, we're launching soon SEPA transfers and ability to make and receive payments outside, and for us to integrate from Kosovo into the wider European, wider global payment system and banking system. That's another value, right? And it's like, yes, you can do things the way you want to do them with cash, but here's what you could be gaining if you join Swinto and if you do things in that way. The response from the ground is actually fairly positive, and it's a good thing because it's been surprising me in a positive way too. What we're building is effectively a platform that we connect all the different agents within an economic system, and then on top of that, it's absolutely amazing what you can build. You can build peer-to-peer systems, you can build tokenization, you can build out all of these features, especially underlying ones, that facilitate the economy. The way we like to think of it, if I can just make that final point, the way we like to think of it is this. In Kosovo, there's only one word I would use when people say, what's your experience like living there? It's constraints. Constraints with the visa, constraints with doing business, constraints with working with, you know, it's just constraints. And the way we see that is we see Swinto as a financial platform in order to unlock the economy. That's the thing. We have so much energy and potential in this country, you know, and it's all about just unlocking it, because the moment someone wants to do something, there's an obstacle in the way. There's something immediately. And I think the economy is a good kind of binary code in society to kind of make things be able to be processed easier and run better. And that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, thank you. I think we have 6 to 7 minutes, and I want to keep the last question and your answers pretty short, and maybe if there's a question from the public. Fintech rides upon a lot of data, personal information of users, ID numbers, credit card numbers. And this data is further digitalized, processed, and shared for granular analysis from your part in order for you guys to develop greater product, user-friendlier databases, products, and so on. How do we ensure data privacy? So, and I would appreciate if you keep your answers, you know, a minute and a minute half tops. So yeah, I know. It's a short time for answering such a complicated question, but hey, I think we're yeah.
6 letters, PCI DSS. There's a standard which defines all security rules and practices and encryptions and so, and there is no any serious EMI institution which does not apply this standard. So I'm pretty much sure that Swinto applies as well. So the same standard is applied by PayPal, but any, let's say, whichever company you mention, if they don't apply PCI DSS, they could not get, or they cannot get a license from central bank or from the regulatory body. So this is, let's say, the aperitif in this industry.
Yeah, Melita, if you can add maybe from the other side of the coin's perspective, right?
For me, it's easier because our products, yes, they are global, well-known products which have the protocols in place. Maybe Urban, my partner, would be better answering this question. But the thing is that they have the protocol like the banks use, and they have double authentication. Sometimes to our customers, it looks too much, it looks boring, like entering the code, the security code, etc. But yes, the protocols are in place. Yes, it works, and I mean, it's mandatory. You cannot do your work without having. And plus, there is something that in Kosovo is not seemed like something good, but we love it. It is everything can be seen who did what. So audit trail is something that is very, very important to us. And for whatever you do, when you sign in, when you do all the things, it could be traced.
Okay. Ulpian, do you have something to add, or maybe we can give the opportunity to...
really quickly, I agree with what my panelists just said. I just want to add one more thing. I think it's also a question of transparency, and I think it's got to come voluntarily. And what we want to do, and I'd love if others do this, what we want to do is actually just be more transparent with our users, even more, have that communication, publish as much information as we do, call people to our offices, things like that. That's the only thing I'd probably add.
Awesome. Thank you guys for answering my questions. This is a fun and interesting topic. We could do this all day. We have, I think, 3 minutes left. If there's a question from the public, speak now or hold your... Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your perspectives. I've been a user of QuickBooks, and I'm a user of both your apps, so I also have the experience from that end. You mentioned that we lack awareness and that the number of people using these services is not in the level we hope for it to be at this stage. Maybe if we introduce these solutions, and maybe this goes out to IBAS and Swinto, to public services, maybe that's also a way for people to start trying them out and see if they like it or not. Are your solutions ready for two things? One, to pay tickets in buses in Pristina, and to pay for car parking and apps. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good question. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. In our perspective, any receiver is similar. So we just apply different rules, and we have the technology prepared in a way that we can configure for each case separately, and we can do it almost like a plug-and-play feature.
Yeah, 100%. Of course. I mean, this is classic embedded finance. This is exactly what we want to do. Add an interface to that contextual finance background that we have. I think we started something. We were discussing about parking. We're definitely ready if you'll have us on, and for obviously the tickets too. Yes, we are.
Okay. I think the time is up. Thank you again for. I want to thank my panelists first for sharing this platform to talk and explore the opportunities that they have. And I want to thank all the public. See you next time. Thank you.